the headlines. The Non-Governmental Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, are demanding for the immediate dismissal of the Kasama teacher at St. Teresa Girls Secondary School. Labour Minister has threatened to revoke licenses of companies which do not remit employee contributions. Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA says it has invested over $2 billion United States dollars in Zambia. And Venezuela's opposition-controlled National Assembly has appointed 33 judges to the Supreme Court, prompting accusations of an attempted power grab. With the news in detail, my name is Chitalu Chinsenge. The Non-Governmental Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, demands for the immediate dismissal of the Kasama teacher that was caught red-handed having sexual intercourse with a pupil at St. Teresa Girls Secondary School. NGOCC Executive Director Ngwase Mwale says the conduct of the teacher has brought to question the safety of the girl children that are in boarding schools. Ms. Mwale says it is unacceptable and unprofessional for a teacher to take advantage of the vulnerability of the pupil to abuse her in such a manner. She says parents report their trust in schools to take care of these children and not to abuse them. Ms. Mwale has therefore appealed to the government through the Ministry of Education to put in place stringent measures to safeguard the girl child in most of the schools, especially in some boarding facilities with inadequate monitoring and protection mechanisms. She has also appealed to the police to investigate the matter, given that the named teacher started abusing the girl at a time she had not yet reached the age of maturity. Ms. Mwale is hopeful that the matter of teachers' abuse of young girls in schools will receive police attention as a matter of national concern before our girl children perish. Labour Minister Joyce Nonde has threatened employers that government will revoke licenses of companies who do not comply with the remittance of workers' contribution to National Pension Scheme Authority (NAPSA). Ms. Nonde says employers who are in a habit of not remitting workers' contributions to the authority will be prosecuted once identified. Ms. Nonde has charged that government will not condone casualization. Ms. Nonde has warned that foreign-based companies who are exploiting Zambians and are not remitting NAPSA contributions will have their licenses revoked. She stressed that the improvement of the social security is cardinal, as the country's 4% of its population is above 60 years old, hence the need to be protected. Ms. Nonde says the companies have the duty to ensure that they look after the employers after they leave employment and secure their financial benefits. She says the country has laid down labor laws and procedures, and any investor who fails to abide by the regulations risks having their licenses revoked. Ms. Nonde, however, notes that some companies have, obeyed this law by submitting employee NAPSA contributions.
In every country, social security is key. If you look in our country, we have, I think it's 4% of people above 60 years living. Now, these people who die are not dying because of age. I think God wanted us to live even up to 100 years, but they die early because they start suffering after they leave employment. That's key. That's what we should start thinking about. Now, if you casualize, it means our social security schemes, that's our pension schemes, are going to die a natural death. So we have talked, we have passed the laws, we have said what we can. So all those employers who are coming in this country or who are Zambians who are not obeying the laws of the country, we will have no choice but to revoke their licenses. That's what we are going to do. Because if you come here and you don't respect the country's laws, then why are you here? So we have a duty to look after our people, we have a duty to protect them, we have a duty to secure finances or benefits after they leave employment. It's not early. Even in villages, old people are looked after by the young people who are in those villages. So if we start denying people social security, then what are we doing? We are sending them to an early grave. So casualization will completely kill pension houses. And that's why the government passed a law to stop it. But people are disobeying the law, including Zambian employers. So we will have no choice. We'll be revoking the licenses. That's what we'll do in the end.
Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA says it has invested over $2 billion United States dollars in Zambia since its existence in the country. Japanese ambassador to Zambia Hidenobu Sobashima has told a Zambia JICA Fellowship Interactive meeting in Lusaka that JICA also intends to train 30,000 people in Africa in various economic disciplines by the year 2018. Mr. Sobashima states that JICA has also placed its focus to enhance economic empowerment and diversification in Africa and Zambia in particular. He states that the corporation will continue partnering with Zambia in fostering social and economic growth for the betterment of people in the two countries. And presenting a speech on behalf of Higher Education Minister, Director of Technical Affairs Alex Simumba, says government is cognizant of the efforts by JICA in contributing to the country's social and economic development. Mr. Simumba states that Zambia is grateful with the support that Japan has rendered to the country in the health sector, education and agriculture.
Government that values productivity and accountability, and of course also believes in delivering value and a better standard of living to our citizens, we cannot agree more than this. We all know that recently His Excellency the President launched the 7th National Development Plan, a sign that we need to continue developing this country towards our 2030 vision and beyond. This is one reason that the government of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia has taken interest in cultivating collaborative relationships with professional bodies such as ZAGIFA. Why? Because we all know that it's through this engagement of professionals that together we achieve development for our country. In this regard, allow me to pledge government support for such a noble cause.
The Ministerial Committee spearheading the rebuilding of the gutted Lusaka City Market has continued to receive overwhelming support, with the Lions Club of Kablongo District 413 and Guardian Insurance Brokers Limited donating 2 checks worth 20,000 kwacha. Receiving the checks at her office, Vice President Inonge Wina has commended Zambians that have stepped and contributed monies and materials towards the rebuilding of the gutted Lusaka City Market. Ms. Wina, who is committee chairperson, says the donation will go a long way in boosting efforts of a working group which has been mandated to undertake the reconstruction of the market. The Vice President says the size of donation does not matter, stressing that what matters is rising to the occasion and helping fellow Zambians that are in need. Speaking when he presented the 2 checks, Guardian Insurance Brokers chairperson Hastings Chiti has assured the Vice President that the Lions Club members are ready to help with the hands of cleaning up the gutted market should need arise. The Opposition Movement for National Transformation, MNT, is worried about the high rate of HIV/AIDS prevalence for the country. MNT leader Daniel Shimunza says according to the current statistics conducted by the National AIDS Council on those infected, new infections per year is gravitating at around 46,000 people of the general population, a situation he said is unfortunate. Mr. Shimunza says HIV/AIDS remains a serious threat in the country because of lack of political will in the fight against the scourge. And Mr. Shimunza has observed that the current policy on HIV/AIDS transactional, reactionary, short-term in approach and misplaced to fight the pandemic and only fuels corruption in purchasing of drugs. Mr. Shimunza has told Q News that even though the current therapy treatment has saved lives, which is highly appreciated, but it is important to eliminate the disease because it is a misplaced policy direction. He adds that it is sad that for 37 years, various methods, campaigns and therapies have been advanced to relatively curb the vice, which have left people losing loved ones, spouses, children, friends and relatives. Meanwhile, Mr. Shimunza direction, if voted into power in 2021, to eliminate the disease that has threatened the national security and productivity.
A certain number of your population is about to be wiped out by a disease. That is a national security issue, because the people that are infected and have died of HIV/AIDS could have economic ramifications to contribute to the economic development of this country. And so if the statistics that we are having now is that 46,000 every year, the infection rate is running at that level. And then 1.2 million people are already infected. And then they're saying that 900 from, AIDS Council, they're telling us that 900,000 are cases that are not yet recorded of people who are probably already infected. Now, those statistics are alarming. And how we've been numbed. We've never done research as a country. We've never built internal capacity as a country. We have not gone insofar as saying, let's develop our own internal capacity to deal with this issue of HIV/AIDS. Okay, but what we want for us as a movement for national transformation is that, one, there's a level at which we have to fight multinational corporations. We have to build our own internal capacity to produce medicine, not by getting a country from Uganda to come and produce it and then distribute to the continent. We want our own pharmaceutical companies. We want intelligence from the military, whether this is biological warfare. We want to know that. And we also want to formulate a policy that will deal with this issue. And by 2030, we have to deal with this issue very pragmatically. And so the Movement for National Transformation has this HIV policy that we want to deal with, because currently the policy is misplaced. We are cognizant, okay? We are very cognizant of the efforts of all previous administrations.
The current statistics from the National AIDS Council on those infected approximately range at around 1.2 million people, while 900,000 remain untested, but new infections per year gravitating around 46,000 people of our general population. Government has instructed councils in Eastern Province not to allocate land without proper documentation. Eastern Provincial Minister Makeri Zulu has warned of stern action against councillors' illegal allocation of land at the expense of serving communities. Mr. Zulu says the Patriotic Front has no role to play in the distribution of land, adding that his office will not entertain inappropriate procedures in land allocation. He says government will suspend any councils who are in the habit of allocating land, stating that government will not tolerate lawlessness in the country. Mr. Zulu says anyone grabbing land without following laid-down procedure required for one to acquire land should stop or face the consequences.
We are going to plan residential areas or indeed any land allocation to the detail to see to it that if the council is saying we're going to give plots in this place, they should tell us where the sewer ponds are going to be, how, where the pipes are going to pass, how the houses are going to be. We don't want one house facing east, the other one facing west, the other one facing heaven. We don't want anything of that sort. So if you ask what we are doing as government, we're trying to regulate the allocation of land in the best possible ways and see to it that the best amenities are being given, the social amenities are being given to the people. That way, we won't have a situation where 5 years or 3 years down the line, they're saying there's no water here, Boma and the road. We should have done that in the first place. We should have planned it in the first place. So the cadres have no role whatsoever to play in land allocation to oneself or indeed to any other person. That responsibility is given to the council. If the council is failing to do their job in that case, they'll be suspended, or their agency rights will be taken away as it has happened elsewhere. Because the councils are only acting as agents for the Minister of Lands, who are the overall authority as regards allocation of land. In any case, if a person says, I'm going to get this land, and they give it to themselves, you cannot have what's not yours, because you won't be able to manufacture your own titles. You won't be able to give yourself an offer letter. Someone else will need to do that. And this issue of people having to get land and later on hope it will be regularized is long gone. We have.
The The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions says the mushrooming of unions in the country is weakening the voice of the labor movement. ZCTU Secretary General Cosmas Mukuka says it is worrying to see some people in the country promoting splinter unions for selfish reasons. He has observed that this gives undue advantage to the employer to manipulate unions. Mr. Mukuka has noted with concern that such actions only serve to divide the voice of workers by forming splinter unions. He says this at the Grain and Meat Union of Zambia, Gramu's Quadrennial Congress in Lusaka, held under the theme Organizing for Job Security Workers, Health and Safety for Increased Productivity.
The continued mushrooming of new trade unions is weakening the voice of labor because it gives undue advantage to the employer to manipulate unions. At times, to our surprise, these unions are even formed by employers because they want to bring divisions. But for you workers, you should open your eyes and see whether that's the way to go as unions, where employer can even sponsor the formation of unions. And there is a lot of mudslinging which is going on, where our political leaders also should open their eyes, whether the lies they get from the same people forming unions is the correct one or not. Because when they know, like you are fighting for better conditions of service, when the negotiations are reached an advanced stage where you're now fighting for improved salaries and conditions of service, one or two move out and they go and say, but do you think these people are with us? I don't think they are with us. Don't you think they are politically inclinated? And then the employer and the company owners get it and say, you may be right. So what we can do is, we can just go on, form another union to weaken this one, because this one looks political. In some cases they do.
And Mr. Mukuka has commended Gramu's for successfully hosting the Congress, stating that job security and health issues should be a priority for any union, which should not be compromised.
This is an important thing, because it is putting the working lives of a member first. A worker whose job is secured is bound to be productive. But a worker who is insecure becomes less productive. The theme is also very, very important as it touches on the healthy and safety of workers. Job security and healthy and safety issues should be prioritized for any union, and that should not be compromised. The protection of workers against work-related illnesses, disease and injury is an essential element of decent and productive work. And this, therefore, a high priority area for the trade union movement should be focused in this area. Colleagues, it is very, very important also that you hold this quadrennial Congress with the same spirit of unity and not to allow anything else to divide you.
And speaking earlier, Gramu's President Blake Molala has urged all employers in the country to comply with the provisions of the Occupational Health Act number 36 of 2010, stating that a healthy workforce is a catalyst to high productivity, which brings about economic growth. Mr. Molala has since commended government for abolishing the termination of Louis Not to Slow replacement in Act number 15 of 2015, which states has affairs of workers.
Some employers use any means at their disposal to prevent workers from organizing. Despite belonging to a union being a universal right for each worker, we still face a challenge where most of the workers are not given access to have a voice which can represent them. And these workers do this because of their greatness, where they want to manipulate, infringe on the rights of workers. Whilst they use them as labor tools, they make huge profits for them, and in return for their services, they are given talk time value. We have found a lot of companies in Zambia where we have tried to increase our membership. Sorry to say, we have had a challenge with the Real Meat Africa. This is a company which we have written to so many times, but they want to hide in the blanket of consulting their lawyers for a period of a month, simply to append their signature or to agree to terms of our collective agreement. Guest of honor, this delayment is meant to threaten workers, and some of the members are dismissed even before a union is.
Panos Institute of Southern Africa, PSAF, says it is saddened by the plight of circumstantial children in the country's correctional facilities in the country. Panos Executive Director Lillian Keffer tells Q News that there are legal provisions that ensure that circumstantial children in the country's female correctional facilities are cared for, but states that this has not been the case recently. Ms. Keffer notes with concern that there has been limited resources for circumstantial children in the correctional facilities in terms of adequate feeding and proper hygiene. Ms. Keffer adds that it is devastating that the number of children in prisons is increasing while their welfare is catastrophic. She adds that her organization has embarked on advocacy campaigns to engage government and other major stakeholders to ensure that the plight of children born in the country's female correctional facilities is looked into.
Deeply concerned about the situation of circumstantial children. We know that it is a good thing when children are young to not be separated from their mothers, so it is a good provision that the mothers can keep them while they are in custody. But we know the mothers are incarcerated, the children are not convicted, and there are good provisions in our current law that provide for the welfare of these children who are in prisons with their mothers. The challenge that is there is that the actual implementation of the law is not adequate. There is limited resources to provide for all the necessary supplies that these children need. So when you see the numbers of children are growing, but the welfare of the children is not really up to standard, we are concerned about that, and that is why currently we actually have an advocacy project which we are implementing with support from the European Union in partnership with DAP, to see how best we can bring out the suffering and the challenges of these children so that the government and other stakeholders can do something about it. There are challenges of like feeding, adequate feeding. They're supposed to be provided with formula, baby cereal, diapers or nappies, hygiene products like soap and laundry supplies, but all that is not adequately provided. So we know that there is limited resources and limited financing to the prisons, but we would like to implore the government and other stakeholders to do something about it for the welfare.
National Union of Commercial and Industrial Workers of Zambia President Robert Munsanje has pleaded to the management of Pick n Pay stores in the country to conclude on negotiations of improved salaries and conditions of service for their workers. Mr. Munsanje has told Q News in an interview that the protest by the workers will not stop if management does not attend to the demands by the workers and the unions. He has stated that the salary and conditions improvement are long overdue and depressing the workers in these chain stores. Mr. Munsanje has stated that the adamance by the managers to delay in raising the salaries and improve the conditions of service is likely to affect the delivery of public service because of a demotivated workforce. He has since assured that the union is doing all it can to ensure that negotiations for improved salary and services for the workers of Pick n Pay and other chain stores are positive and successful.
The workers of Pick n Pay, yesterday they downed tools. Reasons very, very simple and straight. They are demanding for the pay rise. And my team, competent team of men, the officials of the union, and indeed together with the management, they will resume the negotiations by next week. Though we have not been given a date yet, but what we are looking at critically, if we prolong negotiations, definitely such things do happen in negotiations because the economic situation is not favoring. And since all the prices of things have gone up, definitely even them, we need a good pay rise, so that at the end of the day they are able to live within their means. At the moment, until when maybe they agree. But what I want to say that no, this negotiation must be finished as quickly as possible. Just like the verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. I don't want them to prolong again, and then for the workers to put working again. No, I think management must realize that no, our economic situation is hard now, and therefore we are calling upon. I call upon the management of Pick and Pay to indeed finish up this negotiation.
Zambia Institute of Mass Communication, ZAMCOM Executive Director Oliver Kanene has appealed to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Services to reduce import taxes on broadcasting materials for the film industry if it is to thrive. Mr. Kanene says inasmuch as a college is trying in producing a competent human resource in television broadcasting, it has been difficult for them to contribute to the country's economy because of the challenges in importing equipment due to high import tax rates. Mr. Kanene has advised government to protect the people in the broadcasting industry by setting up a specific time frame in which they can import television equipment on low taxes. Mr. Kanene has also added that Zambia's society comprises of enormous talent that can enhance content during the country's transition from analog to digital broadcasting. He states that such talent has, however, been constrained due to high import taxes on the equipment.
And appropriate for training, and then we begin to train people here. There are lots of young people, in the townships and so on, who are already producing content. But when you look at that content, you can see, you can separate the skill from the talent. And what we want to do is to get them out of the compound and bring them in an institution like this one and hone their skills, make them better people so that they can break into the international market as well. So for us, that is what we want to do. But I'll tell you that, probably the government could think or consider of opening a window for a while in which people can import equipment at very low taxes, or maybe without taxes. Because at the moment, it is very, very expensive for anybody to bring broadcasting equipment here. The cost of equipment, I'll give you an example. I know a friend of mine who has imported mobile cinema equipment, very small scale. And the equipment itself cost about 54,000 kwacha. The taxes were 34,000 kwacha. And because of that, they couldn't bring the equipment. So I think that the government must also play their part in supporting what we are doing. Because when we train the people here, they must go out there and find the equipment, the right equipment for them to use in order for us to improve the quantity and the quality of productions.
Cressy University Vice-Chancellor Lawrence Mwewa has reminded citizens that they have the responsibility to develop the country and not foreigners. Mr. Mwewa says has called on citizens to equally stimulate rural development. He says selfishness is what is delaying national growth. That's the need for a change of mindset. Mr. Mwewa has therefore challenged young people to start participating in agricultural activities, which he said provide an opportunity for personal and national development. He says it is important that Africans in the diaspora should invest in their respective home countries and be part of transforming Africa.
The Zimbabweans have come into Zambia, they have gone into South Africa, they have gone all over the world. Their economy is almost at the point of collapse. But the patriotism of the Zimbabweans, those that are outside, they send money back home. And my sister, Mrs. Ngube, will tell you so. They will make money and they will never keep that money in the country where they are. They will make money and send that money back to their country. When our friends, the Zambians, when they go to America, Britain, Australia, name it, they eat all the money. They even forget about their own mothers and fathers in their own country. I know many of them. They cannot even build a hut in the village where they come from. What an embarrassment. I know what I'm talking about. I've got cousins, I've got friends that I know. This is the village where they come from. And they are building in the United States of America. And they cannot build in their own village. Waiting for some people from Asia or Europe or wherever to come and build your village. It will never happen, please. So, in my speaking, in my view, from time to time as I address you, I have Zambia, 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 Zambia. Because I belong here. I'll never go anywhere and last there forever. This is my country. This is your country. So each time when you think, whenever you are doing whatever you are doing, I know that some of you, eventually as nurses, you are going to go in the UK, in Australia, in America, in Namibia, and so on. When you go, remember to build a better house in your village.
That's all we had for you in the news. Before we go, we take a look at the stories making headlines. The Non-Governmental Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, are demanding for the immediate dismissal of the Kasama teacher at St. Teresa Girls Secondary School. Labour Minister has threatened to revoke licenses of companies which do not remit employee contributions. That's all we had for you in the news. You can visit our website www.qtvzambia.com for more news. My name is Chiselu Chinsenge. Good evening and God bless.